Welcome! In this explainer, we're going to dive into how you can make your communications in Blackboard, your announcements, messages, and emails, way more effective and accessible for all of your students. As an instructor, your announcements are pretty much the lifeblood of your course. So let's make sure every single word really counts.
So, let's kick things off with a number that might actually surprise you. Research has shown that a staggering 98.6% of students, we're talking nearly everybody, finds accessibility features like captions helpful for learning, and that's whether they have a documented disability or not. And that one statistic right there, it reveals the single most important idea we're going to talk about today. When you design for accessibility, you're not just checking a box. You are creating clearer, more effective content that makes learning better for every single person in your course. It's just good design.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why this matters to everyone. Then we'll walk through a really practical checklist. After that, we'll get into the tools you already have inside Blackboard. And finally, we'll build out a perfect announcement blueprint that you can start using right away. So let's start by reframing this whole idea of accessibility. This isn't about following some set of rules. It's truly about educational equity. It's a core piece of what makes teaching great.
Think about it. When you create a clear, well-structured announcement, who are you really helping? Well, the list is pretty long. For first-generation students or ESL learners, you're getting rid of ambiguity. For neurodiverse learners, you're lowering that cognitive load. And hey, for that student who's just trying to read your announcement on their phone while they're on a noisy bus, you're making their life so much easier.
You know, the international standards for this stuff, called WCAG, are built on 4 key principles. You can remember it with the acronym POUR: perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. Basically, it's asking, can everyone see or hear it? Can they use it? Does it make sense? And will it work on different devices now and in the future? It's all about the actual user's experience.
Okay, now let's turn those big ideas into a super practical checklist. These are simple changes, I promise, that you can make today that are going to have a huge impact on how your students experience your course.
First up, and this is so important, structure is everything. We've all seen that dreaded wall of text on the left. It's impossible to scan, and for a student using a screen reader, it's just a nightmare. But look at the difference on the right. By using proper headings and lists, you create a clear roadmap. It lets all your students navigate the information way more efficiently.
Next up is one of the most common mistakes we see, but thankfully, it's also one of the easiest to fix. It has to do with how we write our links.
The big problem is using vague links like "click here." They just don't mean anything without context. Imagine a student with a screen reader trying to navigate. All they hear is "click here, click here, click here." It's useless. But a descriptive link, something like "view week 3 assignment instructions," tells them exactly where they're going before they even click. And that brings us to another key point. Never, ever rely on color alone to give information. So if your announcement says, "items in red are due this week," a student with color blindness might miss that completely. Same with a screen reader. The solution? Just add a redundant cue. Use bold text or an asterisk or even a word like "required" to make sure the meaning is clear to everyone.
And finally, just remember that accessibility really starts with the writing itself. Plain language is a gift to everyone. When you avoid that dense academic jargon and use direct, simple sentences, your content instantly becomes more understandable, especially for students who might be navigating higher ed for the very first time.
Okay, so that's the theory. Now for the fun part. Let's look at how you can apply all this directly inside the Blackboard content editor. These tools are already there, just waiting for you. So, to make a real heading, don't just bold the text or make the font bigger. You need to use the paragraph formatting drop-down menu. When you choose header, you're actually adding invisible code that tells Assistive Tech, hey, this is a major section, and that lets users jump right to it.
And it's the exact same idea for lists. If you just manually type dashes or numbers, a screen reader has no idea it's a list. You have to use the built-in list buttons. That way, the technology can actually announce, list with 3 items, and then read them off properly.
Now, what's really cool is that you don't have to do this all by yourself. Blackboard has an incredible tool baked right in called Blackboard Ally. Seriously, think of it as your own personal accessibility coach working behind the scenes.
So Ally does 2 amazing things. For you, the instructor, it shows you these little color-coded gauges that give you real-time feedback and step-by-step instructions to fix any problems. But for your students, it automatically creates alternative formats on demand. This means they can download your content as an audio file, a tagged PDF, or even electronic braille. It's a game changer.
Okay, let's put it all together.
Here is a blueprint for the perfect accessible announcement that you can steal for your own courses. This is going to take all the guesswork out of your weekly communications.
A truly great announcement is predictable. It lowers student anxiety because it always answers 3 key questions right up front. What exactly do I need to do? When is it due? And where do I need to go to do it?
And this is what that looks like in practice. This blueprint brings together everything we've talked about. See the clear headings for tasks, due dates, and resources? The tasks are in a proper bulleted list, and the links tell you exactly where they're going. This structure is clear, it's predictable, and it's accessible for everyone.
So at the end of the day, making these small tweaks, using real headings, lists, and descriptive links, it's not just about compliance. It fundamentally makes your communication clearer and your teaching more effective. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's one small change you can make this week to create a more inclusive and effective learning environment for every single one of your students?